I like it, Professor Lavrov. I like how we're thinking the same way. That excites me. Thank you for that. Colleagues, any other questions? I don't see any questions in the chat. Any other questions to our panelists, to our presenters? Everybody's awestruck with what they've heard. Professor Lavrov,
maybe just a
would
comment
you like to say something?
For Ghasant.
Please go ahead.
Ghasant, you are really too this day. I listened to you. I agree with Fielding. You've done an amazing job of lifting our image and brand and reputation of UWC in such creative ways. I think if we can ensure, okay, next year we are going to work on a communication and marketing plan for every faculty. But if we can link that kind of training, because oftentimes people, they publish the papers, but then that translation of those papers into accessible, like I'll give you an example. I drove the Consumer Protection Law or the Consumer Protection Act implementation in the Eastern Cape when I was Dean of Law. And one of the ways in which we could do that was I wrote a guide for the province as to, awareness around the Act in very, very simple ways. And then secondly, I started the newspaper column, which I believe they're still carrying on with that, where we then help consumers with consumer protection kinds of issues. So it wasn't just taking the academic papers, but to take it into the space of communities with things that they struggle with, and then we could, respond to those kind of issues. That's a simple example, but I saw how important it was to write it in a kind of way that a learner can understand it, and just to demystify some of the things. And I think I want to start a public lecture series, which will have to wait till next year at UWC, because the public lecture series, that's where you bring your communities into your scholarly work as well. And we were going to do it, and then COVID happened, so we had to postpone that, and we'll kick that off again early next year. Those are just two examples, and there are lots more that you can do around this. Creative ways of actually reaching your communities, but also in a way that, in a sense, attracts for future students to the university.
Prof Lavrov, that's very exciting indeed. But I like what you said earlier on about community engagement not being a soup kitchen, or the university's engagement. And it doesn't mean that we're popular, we have to dumb things down. It just means that you use appropriate platforms and appropriate language for the audiences you serve. So we're quite big on segmenting audiences, and it's about pitching it correctly to different audiences as well. Publishing, using one kind of piece of content and publishing it multiple times on appropriate platforms. Yeah. So we look forward to that. Definitely, that sounds very exciting, Prof.
A question, Cornell, did you still want to raise a question? I see your hand was up.
It was up, and I took it down because Prof Lavrov stated exactly what I thought to just mention, that we sometimes underestimate the value of institutional advancement. And what you've also raised yesterday, Prof Fielding, about, we must do this paradigm shift of thinking that all scholarship happens through scientific publications, and that to really reach the community, as Ghasant indicated today, you need to reach all of community. And I think we really need institutional advancement to, I would say for myself, definitely to be educated. How do I, get that footprint? Because we are so, and I want to call it institutionalized, to publish or perish through scientific journals, and yet the stats that was shown today just shows that by reaching millions of people, the ratings of the university goes up anyway.
Professor Lavrov?
Can I leave us with a challenge? I would like us to take the 3 days of this conference and to ask all the speakers if we can conceptualize a book, and that we actually publish in that book, that all of you that were speakers, that we publish your perspectives in that book. And we make it around the theme that we had around social impact, broad impact. And we then have your inputs as the exemplars, because once we've got a book on this, it also enhances the status of even the colloquium. I would definitely, we're going to try and put a proposal together, and we will be contacting all of you that were speakers, because I think the timing is right, and we are sitting on a very, very, especially with the framework being developed. Yeah, there's a unique opportunity for us to be doing this. I sent it to USAF, by the way, and they were so excited. Our colloquium program was sent to all the DVC academic. So we're doing something right at UWC, and I think we need to leverage that.
Professor Lavrov, I'm almost sure I saw a glint in Hassan's eyes and it widened when you mentioned that. So it looks as though Hassan is very excited. I certainly am. Maybe just a last question. Cornel, I know we're running slightly over time, but I think this is an important question to all panelists from Damaris. How do we create CSI across the university? Would anybody like to take that? Priscilla, maybe from you or Paul?
I think that I have to ask somebody else, because I'm kind of biased and I'm driving that process. So I think Damaris knows my stance on it. So I think it's going to, she's basically asking somebody else is not going to tell her the same story.
Cornel, you seem eager to be able to help out answer that question.
Well, I think I would prove that I've listened attentively to Prof Lavrov's presentation now about how do we institutionalize at all levels, and I think it's exactly that. I was thinking, if there's one clip that I'm so grateful that load shedding didn't affect today, then it was Prof Lavrov's final presentation now, because it sort of gave me this vision of what's coming, what's possible. And it gave me that link to what we almost ended with yesterday, to say, yes, we're in, yes, we want to go ahead, yes, we will have to conceptualize, yes, we have to do a mind shift, but how and when? And today's presentation by Prof Lavrov indicated that it's something that we have to take on. And then there's wow factor now, even with a book. But I think if we consolidate all of this, then we start saying, even through the graduate attributes that she mentioned, that means that it even goes right to our students for the world of work before they even leave the university. It goes through what you've mentioned yesterday, Prof Fielding, after the event, actually, how we need to start thinking, how do we get our students, when we even supervise them at postgrad level, to think societal impact. So for me, I think those 10 points that was raised was sort of that's the how-to. How do we take it across the university and then bring in, as Prof indicated, let's see which faculties want to pilot, want to lead. There are so many leading departments and faculties already on campus. It's not just doing this sort of systematic process as Prof indicated.
Professor Lavrov?
Sorry, I'm hogging the mic, but it's just a last point. And we have example. We have a very good example in our Accelerated Excellence Program students. Those are the high-performing students that's part of our AEP program. And one of the modules that they're doing is the community engagement and the actual interaction with our community. And every year at the graduation of the AEP, invariably they say the best part of the AEP was the community engagement part. And so I said to Prof Daniels that there's such rich data from the AEPs themselves that we should even be looking at that. Their reflection on why was it the best part of the AEP program for them, whilst still enjoy other legs, but they all spoke about the community engagement and community service that they were doing.
And I think, Professor Lavrov, as you typed in the chat, it should be a requirement in all lines, because it is not something separate from what we're doing. It's a result of our core functions as well. Thank you for that. And as a final thought, as I'm handing over to Professor Daniels for the thank you, Hassan has made the comment. He spoke about the different platforms we engaged in, or we are engaging in, and he says we have 80,000 connections of mostly professionals on LinkedIn alone. So the reach of UWC, the potential target is there, and it is how do we optimally engage with that target in the end. Thanks for that, Hassan. We appreciate it. Colleagues, once again, from our side, thank you to all the speakers and everybody attending. And I'll hand over to Professor Daniels for the official closing. Thank you.
Cornell, are you still playing that clip?
Yes, Prof, I am.
Okay, go for it.
Colleagues, this is a clip that we thought it's a way of keeping rhythm, and so I've shared the link. It is also on the United Nations website, and it was done with Playing with Change. Those of you know us, we are very keen always on the Playing of Change initiative. It was sort of many years ago, one of the best examples even of community engagement across continents. But I leave you with this. It's the latest clip that they've done specifically via the United Nations about fighting prejudice, racism, classism, but how at this event, I think we started a rhythm, and let's keep the rhythm. Enjoy.
Okay, thank you very much, Kunal, for that clip. So I have the privilege just to do the closure and to say thank you. I want to start with Prof Lavrov, and I want to say that you are only able to do the kind of work that the unit does because you have a leader who gives you the support and is open to innovation and is part of the innovation. So thank you, Prof Lavrov. I really appreciate your leadership and then I want to thank the CEU staff, Fabian, Avril, Gail, Pearl, Demaris, all the people who are sometimes in the planning. So thank you to you. Then running the technical, especially when I'm sorry, I'm on my phone because I have load shedding. So apologies if you can't hear me. How's my sound for now? Is it okay?
It's better, Prof. It slowed down a bit. We've got you covered
now. I'm sorry. It's just so. I just want to thank you. We're messing with his business. He had to bring all his batteries and stuff to make sure that Kunal's in no trouble with load shedding. So thank you. And then to Ridwan, who set up our website and managed everything and sent out the invites. Thank you, Ridwan. You were a star. Then IA, you guys heard about the great job they did, but also I want to thank Jessie, Hassan, Nashira, who sent out all the, and also helped with the Scholarship of Engagement publications. Then our speakers, you have to have a catalyst to start the discussion and to open up the discussion. So I want to thank Prof Chetty that just started us off and challenged us all, even if we think we're doing the right thing. I said to somebody what he really was great about his presentation was that he challenged us, even if we think we're doing the right thing, he made us reflect, and I think that's very important. Then Prof Jones with all that examples and telling us, I think the big thing that I got out of his presentation was how do we emphasize process instead of the product, and really that co-creation and training I think is important. And then Prof Reno, just talking about how do we build that community, how do we share, how do we create a new approach to knowledge creation. Then our program director, Anita, every year we rely on you and you're just amazing. Your summaries are spot on. And the way you guide our program, with every day to just chat about it and prepare for the next day. Then our panel chairs, if you guys aren't there to guide us and make us keep time. I loved how you were very respectful, but you forced us all to stick to time. Thank you very much for that. Then to all our attendees, I know that it was challenging with all of the challenges that we've been facing. But I want to thank all of you. I want to thank our stakeholders. I want to thank the students. I want to thank our communities, just everybody who's been supportive. And then lastly, to all the people who sent us well wishes that said, we wish we could be there, but we couldn't attend because of workload or because of load shedding. Thank you. I want to just leave you with this, is that we are now a family, a community, and like Prof put the challenge to you, how are we going to take this forward? Please continue with the blog, stay connected on our website. And, if you have any suggestions, you heard Prof said next year we're going to do something different. This is about taking this forward and doing it in a way that we create partnerships that are sustainable. So thank you, everybody. I don't have to say drive safely because you are all in your safe spaces, but thank you for staying with us for these 3 days. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Bye, colleagues.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Priscilla.
Bye.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.